Right, here we are. Trace Devenins, quick step in a breakaway with Daryl Impey from Mitchelton Scott, who obviously he missed out on the podium for the Tour Down Under after he mega cracked on Wollonga in the last week or so. He's South African national champion, so pretty strong breakaway group. Obviously, Trace Devenins is a really strong rider. Chasing them right now is NTT. They're trying to set up Giacomo Nizzolo. If you recall again from last week, Giacomo Nizzolo won a stage of the Tour Down Under, NTT's first World Tour win in what seems like forever. But if you let me just show you. You may not have heard of the Torquay road race or whatever the Torquay race is. So let me show you, I guess, the overview of the race, what the profile is at the moment. Let me have a look. At the moment, we're on lap, I think, 7. And by the way, I should mention, if you want to watch this race, I've put the link in the description and of this live stream. The description is and there's a live stream on the Cadel Evans road race. It shouldn't be geo-blocked, should be available to everyone. It's free, and they say that that live stream is much better and more stable than the Facebook live stream. But anyway, let's have a look at what this race actually is and the profile for the race. Here we go. So race Torquay, it's a 1-1 UCI race and meant on the Oceania Tour, 133k, so not particularly long. Apparently, Ineos did like 4 hours this morning, and now they're doing this 133k race in the late evening. So I think it's already 7 p.m. at the moment in the race, and the Peloton, I'm just looking at the time check now. The Peloton is 43 seconds as they cross the line, 43 seconds behind the breakaway of Trace Devenins and Daryl Impey, and it's Israel Startup Nation that's on the front. Who is that? Oh, riding obviously for Andre Greipel, and it was fantastic to see. I guess who was it? Rudy Barbier, the French sprinter. He won the stage of the Vuelta a San Juan. Maybe it was the first stage. But race Torquay, it's got, if you see here, let me try and make this a little bit larger for you here. The race profile, you may not be able to see it too well, but it's 10 laps, 13 kilometer laps, 13 maybe 0.3 kilometers each lap. It's around Torquay, which I think is south west of Melbourne, and there's a couple of little climbs in this course, and the reason the climbs are relevant, and they've obviously been harder than people expected, is Caleb Ewan's been dropped right now. So it's actually a pretty select group behind Devenins and Daryl Impey who are working really well together. It's a very rolly course. There's a flat there's an extended flat bit, and it's going to come down to a bunch sprint, I would expect, not a brunch sprint. But it's been hard enough to drop Caleb Ewan, but I don't believe Andre Greipel's been dropped. So it's a fairly hard course, and this is a tune-up for Sunday's race, which I'll also be live streaming, obviously the Cadel Evans road race. And the Cadel Evans road race is a World Tour one-day race, so it's a pretty important race on the calendar now from a points perspective, even though it is January, but points are important for Cadels. So and we see here the winners of the Cadel Evans road race. Last year was Elia Viviani. I think he was still in the Italian national champs jersey then. And the year before that, Jay McCarthy for Bora Hansgrohe. Nikias Arndt won in 2017. He won a stage of the Vuelta last year. And I think he's won a stage of the Giro after a disqualification, but he sprinted in the saddle. Peter Kennych, and he, I think, is retired, and Gianni Meersman. So an interesting mix of riders there, not pure sprinters. Elia Viviani I wouldn't call a pure sprinter. Who do we think is favourite for the Cadel Evans road race on Sunday? I don't think it's going to be a Greipel or a Caleb Ewan type rider. I know Caleb Ewan, I think, has come second in the race before, but I'm not sure it will be Caleb Ewan. Make sure you like the stream if you like these streams. I never make any money on these streams or anything like that, but if you like the stream, like it, so that maybe people will watch it. I mean, you should be able to. I'm not sure what the delay I'll be on right now. It's hard to account for what the delay is to the actual stream, which is just still three Stevenens and Dara Olympi on lap 8 of 10, just chopping off basically, doing turns, and the camera's not really switching enough for me to provide any real insight into how aggressively the peloton is chasing them. Obviously, Quickstep and Mitchelton Scott, who will probably have two of the strongest contingents here today, won't be chasing too hard, or won't be chasing at all, rather. And Lotus Udal now, with Caleb Ewan having been dropped, I don't know what their strategy or who they're going to ride for. But yeah, it's an interesting race. Torquay, a tune-up, sort of UCI 1-1. It's interesting to see so many World Tour teams, like 12 World Tour teams, riding in this race. But one of my friends from Team Bar, in my group chat, he's riding for the Oz team. Let's shout him out. Let's have a look. We'll go to the start list and see who we think is going to win. But one of my friends is riding this, Elliot Schultz. I'm not sure if he's been dropped or not at this point. He's running for Quartermenta Real Estate Australia. But yeah, if we just have a quick look. So you guys are cycling fans. You know all the World Tour guys. And who are the favourites there? Maybe Chris Lawless, Jay McCarthy. Oh, Jay McCarthy's injured. Christopher Halverson could be a chance. But I might explain the two, Team Bridge Lane and Quartermenta Real Estate Australia, if you don't know. Oh, I better scroll down so you can see them. Can you see them? Yeah, let me just move that up for you. There you go. Hopefully you can see them. Oh, you can't. Anyway, so Benjamin Hill's good sprinter. Same with Jensen Plowright on Team Bridge Lane. Jensen Plowright's been winning a lot of races. A really good, versatile rider. And Nicholas White as well is running for Team Bridge Lane, and he's a strong rider as well. And on Quartermenta Real Estate Australia, Steele von Hoff, he won the Commonwealth Games road race in 2018, I want to say. Carter Turnbull's good rider for Quartermenta Real Estate. Elliot Schultz is the guy I mentioned. He was in the break for ages in the under-23 Australian Road Race National Championships. At the start of January at Buninyong, he had a massive effort solo off the front. And in a similar course to this race, Torquay, and Blake Quick 167 for Quartermenta Real Estate Australia is a really strong sprinter as well. So he's a really good versatile sprinter. So they're the guys that, if you don't know, the non-World Tour guys, this is a bit of a background on maybe one of Jensen or Blake Quick. You could be seeing them going for a top 5. Hopefully it would be awesome. Top 5 today, but you never know. It's hard with these World Tour guys. It really is. It really is hard to get even into position when the trains won't let you in. We're seeing even UAE. Jasper Philipsen, UAE rider. Really talented sprinter. He's not really being shown much respect in the bunch, especially by Caleb Ewan and Morku. So these Conti teams or Wildcard teams, it's really hard for them to assemble a leader. And I think we saw that as well in the Tour Down Under. Hold on. Someone's texting me. We saw that in the Tour Down Under when UniSA, they picked a sprinters team. So UniSA, I mentioned this in the streams before, but UniSA have previously picked a variety of type of riders, and during the Tour Down Under they picked pure sprint team. They picked basically the Australian track team, and Sam Welsford, Kel O'Brien, who injured himself, and those guys have big watts and big power. They got the same, I would say, maybe not at the end of the race, but they got World Tour power in a sprint. The problem was they didn't have the positioning, handling, they didn't get the respect in the peloton, so yeah, that didn't really work out for them. So that for Blake Quick and guys like that, it's going to be really hard for them to contest a big bunch finish. All right, what are you saying in the comments? Beetlejuice Green, he was swinging. Who was swinging? Who was swinging? There are no tech issues anymore. There are no tech issues. I fixed it. The audio's fixed. So that's it. If you got spinny little wheels because your internet terrible, Beetlejuice Green, I never stopped working. That's correct. I've just come from work. Just came from my real job straight to this. I'm going to talk about, there's nothing really happening. I'm sorry. I mean, you're probably saying, oh, why aren't you talking about the race? Well, Dries Devenens, Daryl Impey, chopping off still. I don't know what the gap is. Keenan and Liggett and McEwen, they don't know what the gap is. So nothing really to report, to be honest, except that it was a really hot, really hot day, or is a really hot day in Torquay. Let's actually have a look. How hot is it? If I can get it up. I think it's like Torquay in Melbourne. Is it in Melbourne? Torquay, Victoria, weather. 32 degrees now, 35. So it's 7:10 p.m. right now, and it's 32 degrees there. Pretty rank, to be honest. I'm trying to think now as I'm looking at this start list. I want to try and give you a wildcard pick. A wildcard pick of someone, because Caleb's been dropped. I think he's dropped, and Sam Bennett or Quickstep have got. I mean, obviously, if they bring the break back, then Quickstep will be in really good position because they'll have a fresh lead out because they've not been chasing. So you got to bear that in mind. That if it does get brought back, then Sam Bennett's got to be favourite if he hasn't been dropped. Bear in mind, I'm coming to this pretty late. Whoa, same again. Whoa. $14.99. What is it with everyone? Oh, thank you. Happy birthday. That's for a beer or several Diet Cokes. Thanks for the vids, especially for posting on your birthday. Thanks, same again. Probably get me a couple of Diet Cokes. Inflation dependent. Actually, that was in AUD. Thank you. Yeah, GP Llama, welcome to the stream. GP Llama, aka the biggest Australian cycling YouTuber. Thank you for the stream. Maybe I didn't mean the stream, Shane. Maybe I didn't mean the stream. Nah, it's enough of that. Enough of that. Back to serious. I was talking about giving you an actual pick. Matteo Cattaneo for Androni is someone I want to say. Where is he? Oh no, he's now on Quickstep. Sorry, Matteo Cattaneo, he was on Androni last year. Forget that. Andre Greipel. I mean, Greipel, we've been talking about, can he, is he back or is he washed up? You know what my view on that is. Washed up, I think. In terms of whether he can, really contest finishes with the big guys. Viviani, he's sort of recovering from an injury. You saw Simone Consoni, Sabatini, his teammates doing better in the Tour Down Under than he did, which was a bit disappointing, I guess, for him. But that's what you get when you call out your teammates. When you call out your teammates on Instagram and say your lead out was shit, well, you know what's going to happen in the race the next stages after. And I know he crashed, right? But still, probably not the smartest thing. And right now, it looks like, and it makes sense. So the three teams that are chasing are the teams I just mentioned. Israel Startup Nation for Andre Greipel, NTT for Giacomo Nizzolo, and Cofidis for Elia Viviani or Simone Consoni. We don't know. By the way, now that if everyone, 100 people are here, I've started channel membership. I started channel membership because a lot of people requested it, and because it will enable me to do different things. Like I want to start a race team this year. I'm starting a race team with some young guys. I've got to pay $3,000 for the race entry fee. I'm going to foot that because I don't think that young guys should have to. Well, I'm young. I turned 27 today, but younger than me. I don't think they should have to foot the bill to participate in sort of state level racing. So I'm going to have that team, and with channel membership, it'll make things like that possible, and that'll be able to bring more interesting content where instead of, I'll be the DS of that team, which will be cool. There's different levels to the channel membership. Won't change the existing content on the channel at all. It's new content like member-only podcasts, private Discord, which Linda kindly reminded me I need to sort that out this evening and get you all the links to the private Discord chat so we can all chat sort of in a consolidated place. Higher tier members can just request videos and analysis, lots of different things. If you're interested, you might like it. If you're not, no hard feelings at all. Just thought I'd plug it, just to let you know it's there, because sometimes people don't know it's there. But now this is a short race, and thank you GP Llama for the $5 donation. I appreciate it. GP Llama, aka the Zwift God, Tech God. What else are you good at, Shane? Being a llama, I guess. I'm the goat. Shane's the llama. And now I'm seeing Daryl Impey. Okay, well, let's get back to the race right now. Calm down. Daryl Impey's looking a little bit irritated with Dries Devenens, and Daryl Impey's shoulders are rocking a little bit more. He was looking at Dries Devenens saying, "Where are you? Pull through a little bit." So maybe, I don't know whether this break, we have no time gaps right now, so it's hard to say whether what the gap is. When they went through the finish line with crossing from 7 to 8 laps to go, it was 42 seconds the gap. But yeah, maybe they're getting a little bit tired. Impey, as everyone knows, you all followed the Tour Down Under, Impey was cooked at the end of Tour Down Under and got dropped on Wollonga. But let me know, comment if you want me to. I mean, there's not much happening in this race right now. If you want me to go to the Strava of Richie Porte's Wollonga and talk about that briefly, I know I haven't mentioned it. Comment if you want me to have a look at that. But because these two are just chopping basically, and the three teams, Cofidis, Israel Startup Nation, and NTT are chasing them. Linda James, what will you name your team? It's going to be called Team Bar, B-A-A-R, because that's the sound a goat makes, and we are the goats, or the team will be the goats. Shane Miller, don't over-deliver on the member stuff. Yeah, I get you. The lower level membership is just the private Discord and the emojis. So Linda, show everyone what the emojis look like. I want to see what they're. So the emojis you can use, I'm showing you in the chat right now, and I think they're pretty funny. So we got Fabio Aru, Nairo in green, What Bomb, and my LinkedIn profile picture / my LinkedIn, Instagram, Tinder, Facebook profile picture. So they're the emojis, and we got more emojis we can use, but I can't add many more until there's more members. All right, let's have a quick look. Given that nothing too much is happening in this race, at Richie Porte's. Just so I make sure I don't show you my Strava login. Let's have a look at Richie Porte's Wollonga and talk about why we think that Daryl Impey got dropped. I mean, why do you think Daryl Impey got dropped? I'm pretty sure I know why he got dropped. And it's a combination of two things. Let's go Richie Porte. Here we go. When was the last stage? Oh, it's Richie Porte's birthday today. So, turns out I share the same birthday as Richie Porte. The best Australian cyclist. And me. Alright, here we go. Richie. By the way, if you're just joining the stream, check out the description. That's where the link to the live stream is on the Cadel Evans Great Ocean Road Race website. This is the Race Torquay UCI 1 one-day race. Daryl Impey and Dries Devenens are chopping off about 30 to 45 seconds ahead of the Peloton, who are not chasing in 100% earnest just yet. But we're going to look at Richie Porte's Wollonga and just talk about why we think Daryl Impey got super popped. And I think it's pretty obvious. It's because he calmed Wollonga Hill. So Richie did it much quicker than the year before. If we look at, it won't really show me Richie's year to year, but by the way, that 11:31, it's quicker than that. That was when I did it with Peter Sagan in 2017. It's quicker than that. We're just chilling, and we stopped before the end of the segment. So don't at me, okay? I was a bit fitter then. Anyways, so Richie did 6:30s, maybe a bit less on the I think this Old Wollonga Hill might not be the actual segment that they talk about on the, on the race, actual official race profile or route. But Richie did 35, 40 seconds. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone in the chat. He did 35, 45 seconds quicker than the year before when Daryl Impey didn't get dropped by 3 to 4 seconds. So I think realistically, hold on. Why is my stream? They just booted me from the stream, the Cadell one. So realistically, I think Daryl Impey pretty much did close to the same time as he did the year before. And Richie just did a way quicker time. Whether that was because of the way the race was set up, it was easier in advance. I don't know whether it was because Trek protected him better. I know that Michelin Scott put in a lot of effort, a lot of work into the getting the intermediate sprints. And okay. Shane Miller, GP Llama, Torquay looking pretty empty. Good night to rock up for fish and chips on the beach. Really? Is there not many people watching the race? That's a shame. Daniel Clarkson, where can I find the Torquay stream? It's in the link in the description of this video. Torquay stream's right there. Just click on it there. Because if you guys don't know, we're just crossing the finish line from the 8th to 9th lap with NTT chasing. 22.5 seconds is the gap. So they brought down in that lap. In that lap, they brought down 22 seconds. The gap to Daryl Impey. Bora Hansgrohe. Who are Bora Hansgrohe riding for? That's a good question. Jay McCarthy? I mean, actually Martin Lass. Now, there's my pick. There's my sort of undercover pick. Is Martin Lass for Bora Hansgrohe. Quick finisher, young guy. And I think he went okay in a few finishes. Yeah, he got a 6th in the Murray Bridge stage. Estonian rider, he's 26. And he's done really well in Asia, like Tour of Korea, Tour of Japan, Hainan, and I think that Princess Maha Chakri might be a Thailand race. So he's actually got a pretty good kick on him. So maybe he could be a dark horse for this race. Is Roger Kluger still in the bunch for Lotto Soudal? Will they just lead out for Roger Kluger, or will they send Thomas de Gent up the road, maybe on a flyer when they catch these guys? Or is it too late? Will it be too late for that? Interesting sort of finish with, it's not a pure flat run-in. Beetlejuice Green thinks Martin Lass could be a good shout as well. Toon Mott says, is Bennett still there? I believe Sam Bennett is still in the bunch, but I haven't checked. They haven't really shown the Peloton too much. 2000 VA. Oh, you guys are talking about the 2000 VAM for Richie Port. Is that what it says? 2030 VAM on his Wollonga Hill segment, 27.5 kilometers an hour, and he put 9 seconds into the Simon Geschke time. So Simon Geschke, I believe, did he have his power? So this was Simon Geschke, I think, or Simon Geschke rather. So he's in really good shape. He obviously won a stage of Tour de France last year, did he? Or was he just in a break with Simon Yates? I can't remember. But I'm not sure if he has his power. He does. So let me see if that's actually his actual power. Yeah, it's his actual power. So Simon Geschke, I'm not sure of his weight. I mean, let's have a look. 64 kegs. So Simon Geschke did 436 watts at 64 kilos, assuming that's his weight. So 6.8125 watts per kilo, which is, according to Strava source, 90% World Tour rank, 6.9 watts per kilo. And that was 9 seconds behind Richie Port. So maybe Richie Port did 7 watts per kilo for 6 minutes 40. Obviously at the end of the stage as well. Pretty good. You know, hopefully, I reckon he could be the man. Oh, thanks, Trotty. Simon Geschke could be a guy to win. I think he'll win another Grand Tour stage this year, or at least definitely a podium. Really good breakaway guy. Vegan, I believe. But, you know, that doesn't make a difference. Max van der Meulen says, Bora Hansgrohe riding for Eric Basker. Eric Basker, I believe, he's Slovakian. Basker, actually, there's a right back who plays in Serie A. I think there's a Basker. He's also Slovakian. And, yeah, he's a really good player. I always used him on FIFA, so that name sticks out to me, Basker. He finished 3rd in stage 1 of TDU. Sam Welsford, Uni SA sprinter, going for gold, baby! In the Tokyo Olympics. Join the live stream. Welcome, Sam Welsford. Beetlejuice Green. Remember, some of these teams did 100 to 120 Ks this morning before the race. Ineos did that, I'm pretty sure. Dylan van Baal. Check out his Strava. We might have a look at that. Because, again, not too much happening in the race. It's going to be a sprint finish. We'll have a look at Dylan van Baal. Dylan, if I can spell it. Van Baal. Thank you, Trotty, saying happy birthday, mate. Donating £5. Appreciate it. Thank you for the birthday wishes, everyone. Eve Bobo says, I hope Viviani wins. I don't. And I think he's injured, so I'm not sure he'll really be contesting the finish. Dylan Van Baal. Let's see what Ineos did this morning. So Ineos did Pavel Sivakov. Man, this shit's crazy. World Tour Riser. Pavel Sivakov, 123 Ks, 1400 meters climbing in under 4 hours. Warm up before Torquay's race. Okay. Okay, for that. And then yesterday they did 206 Ks. They averaged 32.4 Ks an hour. Just 3,000 calories, 36 degrees Celsius. Right. This can't be right, his weight. Have you seen Dylan Varbal recently? I know he's tall, but man, he looks really skinny. Like, super skinny. So, yeah, I'm not sure he's 77 kilograms anymore, to be honest. But we're on lap 9. I was looking at Mads Pedersen right now. Who's at the back of this group? Okay, we're actually getting some shots of the Peloton, so we might be able to see who's in the... Blake Quick's just hanging at the back of the group. He's maybe a dark shout. You know, I really like to see one of those guys, the Australian guys, get a top 5. Blake Quick, I thought, could do really well. He's a sort of versatile sprinter. He's riding for Quartermenth Real Estate Australia. But he's at the back of that group. I'm not sure who else is with him. I think Sam Bennett's still in that group. Is Larry Lactate in the chat? Surely Larry Lactate isn't in the Lanterne Rouge live chat. Larry Lactate, you got to be joining Team Bar for QRTS. Free entry. We need some more breakaway specialists. Absolute Cycling, 7 p.m. we're on. Fix the internet. Good. If everyone doesn't know, Absolute Cycling lost us a search and destroy match last night when he reloaded when he should have been defusing the bomb. Pretty annoying. Dorian Braun, what Strava plugin do you use? Looks great. It's called Strava Source. And yeah, it's just a Chrome extension. And it shows much more information on your Strava. And it's, yeah, it's really cool. Use it, free extension, put it on. I think there's like 7,500 users at the moment. Not sponsored or anything like that. But if you like this channel, you probably like it. Someone boot Brad Soden from the chat. I need some moderators. Sick of him. Lap 9 of 10. This gap's being brought down. It's still Dries Stevenens and Daryl Impey on the front. I think Dries Stevenens looks a little bit stronger than Impey, but hard to tell really. What do you think about... Has anything been happening in Vuelta a San Juan recently? Did Remco, has he been doing alright? I don't know. Nah, just kidding. It's interesting that they made Remco do a not just Remco. They had like a ban on TT bikes. Not sure if everyone saw that. I didn't have time to make a video yesterday, but they had a ban on TT bikes because it was unfair to the South American teams who couldn't afford them. But they still allowed disc wheels, like rear discs and aero helmets, all things like that. So Remco ran a disc wheel, and if you saw on my Instagram, you should have seen it if you follow me on Instagram, which you should, because that's where I do a lot of my good work. A lot of my spicy work is on Instagram at the Lanterne Rouge, and you see that Nelson Oliveira, so he's a Portuguese rider. I think he rode, he's riding for Movistar, and they didn't give him a disc wheel. He was on a non-aero frame, I think the Canyon Ultimate, no disc wheel and no aero, no TT helmet. So there you go. There's 20 seconds at least that they've just lost to Remco on equipment, maybe more. Is that Elliott? So 156, is it 156 and 167 at the back? I'm now seeing, no, 166. Elliott Schultz is at the back, aka Team Bar member of the group. He's talking to Blake Quick at the moment, trying to get him to pull through. I'm not sure if Elliott got dropped at any point, but yeah, so those two guys are conferring about what they're going to do at the finish, lap 9 or 10. I spoke to Elliott this morning, and we talked about what he should do. I guess, well, we were all discussing, like, what's the strategy for him to do well in this race. He's a smaller guy, got a good sort of versatile kick, not a pure sprinter by any means. He was, solo breakaway in the Tour Down Under. Tour Down Under, in Australian Under-23 Nationals, and he got chased down by 5 guys who were chopping off, working really well together. But at the moment on the front, it's still Cofidis, Israel Startup Nation, and NTT. They're all switching turns, trying to bring it back for Viviani, Greipel, and Nizzolo. But yeah, we were speaking to Schultz. I was speaking to Elliot this morning, and talking about, you're a young guy. You don't have. Thank you. That's so Nathan. Love you too. Thanks for the birthday wishes. You're a young guy. You don't have a good kick. Not a good kick. You have a good kick. Like, he came, does well at Muzz, right? But Greipel, Viviani, etc. They have really good kicks. And what should he do to try and perform well in a sort of mixed or versatile up and down sort of race, but no extended climbs, not the same level of climbing as the Nationals race? And I guess I was like, just get in the break. I mean, if you're a young guy running for that Australian team, from a selfish perspective, my goal, I know this is not what you probably should be saying, but my goal would be, what I would do is be like, I want to make sure that a World Tour coach or a World Tour DS notice me, senpai. And to do that, it's probably you got to get in the break and chop off, or maybe go on a late flyer, or maybe do both. Maybe try and get in an early break. If you get caught, go for a bit of a late flyer. Get the name on television. It's your opportunity to be in a UCI 1-1 race, but with so many World Tour teams in there. Three Stevenens and Darryl Impey now talking to each other. I think this gap is being brought back pretty steadily, and when it actually comes down to the last 10Ks to go, this is going to end up in a bunch sprint. Not a particularly exciting race, so thank you for bearing with me. Welcome Lewis McGillian to the Lanterne Rouge squad. Make sure if you like, if you want to see Nairo, if you want to spam when it comes down to Tour de France time, if you want to spam Nairo Man in green, little emoticons, I know I'm juvenile, but I think it's hilarious. Then you got to join the channel membership. All right, get your Djokovic or Federer to win the semi. Maybe I'll just go straight into live streaming the tennis straight after this. I used to bet on tennis, so maybe I'll do that. Probably won't though. Djokovic is going to beat Federer. And Dominic Thiem, he beat Nadal, didn't he? Spooks93, click on the link to the live stream of the race. It's in the description of this live stream. Just click on that there and you'll be able to see it. It's already started. They're on lap 9 of 10, but they're halfway through lap 9. Darryl Impey, 3 Stevenens, Mitchelton Scott, quick step. They're in a breakaway up the road. I think at this point 15 to 20 seconds, but I can't be sure. There's no time. They're not showing time gaps. This race Torquay is 13.3 kilometers, 10 laps of a 13-kilometer circuit, kind of like a Kermesse. But yeah, they're 9.5 laps in, I'd say, and Cofidis, Israel Startup Nation, and NTT are chasing this down. The Quarter Mentor Australia guys are still pretty well represented in the bunch. 126. Who's 126 for Cofidis? Who is 126? Fabio Sabatini just got really mad at the motorbike just then for getting in the way when he was trying to come up the right-hand side of the road. I think Elliot's now got into the main bunch, but he's no longer hanging around at the back of this group. Let's have a look at the comments. Kel O'Brien, happy birthday. Thank you, Kel. Hope Kel broke his collarbone in a crash in Tour Down Under. Hope you get well soon. You should be back in... Will you be back in time for Tokyo? Will your recovery... You should be back in time, right? I don't know how bad your break was, but hopefully you're back in time for Tokyo. That's so Nathan Jocker. Dirty Vegan for the win, correct. Dorian Braun, you would have been a good study buddy studying medicine. Nah, when I graduated school, my parents said, law or medicine? And I was like, neither. And they said, law it is. So here we are. And that's my life. Nah, just kidding. Well, we're getting close to now the last lap. I think Mads Pedersen, the world champions at the back of the peloton. Who are Trek riding for? Who have Trek got? Kenny Alessander, he ain't winning. Mads Pedersen, Mikel Ries, Juan Pedro Lopez, Condecourt, Kel Reinian. Sorry, I don't really know who's their sprinter from that group. I guess Pedersen probably not going to win. Well, definitely not going to win, rather. He did massive turns for Richie Port, and I think really saved his bacon a lot. I think Pedersen was a big difference for Port in the Tour Down Under. And you got to think, well, why was Richie Port able to do 100, 5% quicker, 4% quicker on Wollonga this year than last year? Maybe Mads Pedersen and Trek did a really, really good job for him this year and protected him, allowed him to conserve his energy. Although on stage 5 he got really exposed, and nearly when Michelin Scott had him in those crosswinds, that could have been all over, but didn't happen. He stayed, chased them down. There's no real wind in Torquay, so this race probably would have been a little bit more interesting. It's going to come down to a bunch sprint, if we're honest. This race probably would have been a little bit more interesting if there was winds, but which there often are in Torquay, in this region of Victoria, I believe. GP Lama can confirm, but I think it's a pretty still day, although it's a hot day. So still day, very hot. So people in the breakaway are getting cooked. Basically, just cooking out there. And it's now 7:30 at night in Torquay, 2 hours 42 minutes into the race. Well, on my stream it says 2 hours 41 and 53 seconds if you want an exact time code to match up your stream to me. Some of the Australia guys still surfing the back of this peloton. And if you read Bert Blocken's study from University of Eindhoven, Darrell Impey's been caught, the brake's been caught, although they didn't really show it, so they've 2 hours 42 and 13. We're getting close to the last lap. Dries Devenens and, well, Darrell Impey's definitely been caught. They're not showing Dries Devenens up the road, so I assume he's been caught too, unless he went on a flyer on his own. I doubt it. And it's still Cofidis on the front one rider. The rest, Sabatini and Consolini and Viviani, I think they're back in the main peloton, and it's just this one domestique on the front setting the pace. Behind him is one NTT rider, then 5 Israel Cycling Academy riders setting it up for Greipel. And behind them is the full NTT lead-out train. I think Giacomo Nizzolo, correct me if I'm wrong, he has a black helmet. I'm not actually sure entirely, but now we're going to see, is there going to be a late flyer from somebody? Are Cofidis and the sprint teams just going to control this? Is Giacomo Nizzolo the favourite for this race? I'm not sure. I think Caleb Ewan's, he's definitely been dropped and pulled out. Will Greipel actually get a win? Let me catch up on your comments. Let me catch up. Benjamin de Krop, who will win the Australian Open? Djokovic. Brendan Shin, I can't wear sunnies on my glasses. Spooks93, I want Mitch Docker to win. Nah, he shaved off his hair and mullet, so he's got no power anymore. Good to hear, Kel, that you're back on the ergo. Spooks93, Law is the biggest waste of 5 years. Can speak firsthand. Yeah, tend to agree with you. Caleb Johnston, how can you watch this? Click on the link in the description of this video, of this live stream, and there's the link to the live stream of the race. If you want to watch it. Hold on. Hold your horses. Yeah, so the link to watch the live stream, it's free. You can watch it. On the website, the Cadel Evans Road Race website, which is pretty good. Hopefully, I mean, we're getting better with cycling with some more open access stuff. If you've been watching Vuelta a San Juan, that's been live streamed, depending on where you are. I've been able to watch it in the mornings before work. That's been live streamed by GCN Racing, which has been good. Remco Evenepoel says, what do you think of 464 watts at 62.7 kilos for 5 minutes? It's not that good, mate. It's not that good. I've done more. I've done more myself. Cheers, Nikiola says, cheers LR, do I listen to you or the race commentary? Probably listen to the race commentary, to be honest. Just watch my head moving is what I would do. But we're coming into 2 hours 45. I'm not sure if we're now coming into just about to start the last lap, 13 kilometers left. They don't actually have, yeah, we are. They don't have kilometers to go markers, which makes this kind of difficult. And now Michelin Scott, poor Darrell Impey. Michelin Scott have put Darrell Impey on the front. He's setting tempo for them. We're trying to keep them on the right-hand side of the road. Michelin Scott riding for Caden Groves, I'd say. Would you say, Shane, that Caden Groves would be the sprinter they're riding for? If you guys haven't watched my video, cornering, I think insane cornering, whatever I called it, something in caps about cornering. Looks like a crash, or there's a split in the road. I don't know what's happened just there. They're splitting, maybe it's the bollard in the middle of the road. But Caden Groves, he's a young guy from Mitchelton Scott. He's done really well in Asia. If you click on, if you want to check out his pro cycling stats, he's done pretty well in Asia. He won in the Bay Crits. He won the last stage of that. When he won that sprint, he can hit 1600 watts pretty easy. He's got a good repeated kick. So, but how will he go against riders like Viviani, Greipel, Nizzolo, World Tour sprint guys? Chris Lawless, maybe? Is Chris Lawless a shout for this race? I mean, this is the sort of race where if you've not got a win yet, this would be a really good race to open your account for the 2020 season. You know, I know it's a 1-1, but just getting some runs on the board. So why Sam Bennett, it'd be really good for his confidence that he got some runs on the board, at least winning one Tour Down Under stage, even though he probably wanted a little bit more than that. Amit Kale says, race commentary just called Mads Pedersen a sprinter. Don't think so, lad. That's why you listen to the Lanterne Rouge commentary, because, you know, GP Lama, been watching cycling for a long time, unless he's listening to two commentaries, because he's like Dustin Hoffman, Beautiful Mind, he's listening to the Lanterne Rouge. And that's because you want real cycling commentary. Shield-free, non-corporate zone, even though I am in my corporate kit right now. Max van der Meulen says GCN does not broadcast in the Netherlands. Well, you know who I should get sponsored by? ExpressVPN. Because you should probably get a VPN so you can just watch the free streams. Linda James says your GCN comments are the best. Yep. I mean, they got the there's a fly now by a CCC rider's gone off the front with what looks like either, I mean, the camera is bouncing around so much, there's no camera stabilization. It's a greenish helmet, so it's either the Quick Step Tour Down Under Australian Special helmets or Bora Hansgrohe rider, but I can't see who it is, but definitely a CCC or maybe a Bahrain McLaren rider. They've gone on a flyer right now, trying to get in a late breakaway. We've got under 13 kilometers to go right now. Under 13Ks to go. Darrell-Impey's going off the back. His race is over. Last lap. We still have a sort of, I think they might be on the climb right now, or starting the climb. There's a 400 meter section which is actually quite steep in this race, and that could be decisive, which is why I guess those two riders are trying to get away before that happens. But right now all they're showing is Darrell-Impey going off the back. Excuse me. Spooks, how have EF been riding? Not that much. Not that great. A lot of Sedal riders joined the CCC rider. CCC rider looks like they've blown up. He's been lent on it probably a bit too much. And a lot of Sedal riders actually gone over the top of those two, it looks like to me, to the other side of the road. What a win it was. So that was the initial climb, and now they got a second climb straight after this little descent. And that's why this is a really good part. This is the part to try and break away. A fourth rider, I think a Bridge Lane rider, has actually bridged across to them, pardon the pun. So we've got four riders in a break seat. We have no idea who they are because this camera is trash, bouncing around. Now they've gone to the back of the peloton. I'm about to rage quit because all you need is a GoPro with stabilization, and you'll have a more stable image. It's a Bora Hansgrohe rider, not a Quick Step rider, I think, in this break, and it's CCC, definitely not Bahrain McLaren. Have Bahrain McLaren done anything recently? I actually do have asthma problems at the moment. GP Lama, because I've been sleeping with the aircon, and that cooks me because it's so hot. Lawrence Brandel says, what's your opinion on cycling tips and Mads and his relationship with the media? I haven't seen it. What did they say? I don't think Pedersen's a pretty quiet, reserved guy, right? Or what did they say about it? Is it bad? Nikiola says, Adam Hansen for the win. Lawrence Brown says, EF was great in the TDU. Jonas Lutz made their sprint train just so much better. Were they great in the TDU? I don't know. They didn't really fix much. I mean, Christopher Halverson they put him in good position, I think, but yeah, he wasn't really able to finish. So right now we've got riders off the front, but the cameras are too bad on the front to really show what's happening. So we're looking at people getting dropped off the back of the race, which is kind of frustrating because there's four guys on the front, and if they work together, I mean, they could get a little gap, especially if they work really hard on this climb. And if they, the problem, right? So this is the interesting strategic part of this race right now is the sprinters teams want to catch that break, but if they make it too hard on this climb right now, I know it's only 400 meters, then they might shell Andre Greipel if you're Israel Startup Nation, or they might shell Sam Bennett, or Giacomo Solo probably wouldn't get binned. He wouldn't get dropped. But yeah, you don't want to make it too hard. So, but you don't want to let the break go up the road because we've only got about 10Ks left right now. So it's a kind of like a Milan San Remo, which that video is coming, Milan San Remo 2017. It's a hard balance to find where when you're Sunweb in Milan San Remo 2017, you've got Michael Matthews, who's probably a better climber than the rest of the sprinters. You want to make it as hard as possible to drop all the sprinters, but not so hard that you drop your sprinter. And that's sort of a difficult balance to often find. Troy's effigy, the pictures are in the description. Click on the link in the description to this video. There's a link to the live stream of this race. It's free on the Cadel Evans Road Race website. Dan Golding, this is the Torquay UCI 1-1 race. It's a tune-up race on the Thursday evening in Melbourne before the Cadel Evans World Tour one-day race, which is on Sunday, which I'll also be live streaming. So this is a tune-up race. And right now, we've now panned back to the front. And what looks like an Ineos rider? Is this an Ineos guy on the front? It's someone with... The problem is because this is at twilight, the light is filtering through the trees on the side of the road, and it's very difficult to see the colours on the jersey. It's a darker jersey. It's either an Ineos rider or a Lotto Soudal rider. Lawrence Brundle says pretty much that he can't fill Sagan's shoes as world champ because he isn't as charismatic. I don't really get the point of that article. I have to read it before I comment on that article. But yeah. Who else is getting motion sickness watching the front of this race? Yeah, it's difficult because the guy's obviously on the back of a motorbike and it's bouncing up and down, and he's like not got a gimbal. Has he even got a gimbal on his shoulder? Like, come on. I mean, I reckon GP Miller, if you guys actually get the live stream donations going, get the channel membership going, same with GP Miller, see how the Tour de France goes. If we get that going, GP Miller and Lanterne Rouge will combine. We'll just buy the race rights. And we'll get someone on the motorbike too, and we'll be filming and live streaming this stuff properly. It can't be that expensive, man. Like, honestly, the rights to this cannot be that expensive. Because Cadel, they're live streaming this themselves on their website, so no one really bought the rights. And, yeah, I don't know. Ricky Ole, Scandinavians tend to be fairly reserved, modest, etc. Yeah, agree with that. Dom A, I'd much rather have Mads than Valverde. Nah. Alejandro Valverde is the GOAT, man. I don't want to hear nothing against Alejandro Valverde. So right now the problem is, and the reason I can't tell you who's off the front is because the camera is pointing into... Someone's had a mechanical from NTT. Hope it's not in solar. So the camera's pointing into the sun. So everyone is overexposed on the top of the camera and you can't see what's in the front of it. When they turn around... Look, Ineos riders off the front. It looks like... Do we think this is Dylan van Baarle? Is this Dylan van Baarle? Pavel Sivakov's off the front. God, he looks very similar to Dylan van Baarle. He's off the front riding a super low cadence. Well, I think very low cadence. Given he's on the flat going like 50. He's running, what, are they Dura-Ace wheels? They're very deep dish. 80mm Dura-Ace wheels. I think they're super deep dish. He's in Aerotuck time trial position. Pinarellos, no offense if anyone's got a Pinarello, but they look fucking terrible. And if you buy them, I don't know what you're doing with your life. I mean, Pinarello F12s or Dogmas, I think look like a trash can. And I like the fact that they still have rim brake models, and Ineos still have rim brake models, but man, ugly bikes. Don't know why you'd buy them. Not even good testing to prove that they are any quicker really than other bikes, although obviously Ineos used them. Pavel Sivakov, wow, he's looking thick, man. He looks like a classics guy right now. He's looking really big. Not fat or anything, just like real strong, like big legs, big trunk. He obviously did pretty well in Tour Down Under. What are we going to see from the Tour de Pologne winner last year? Did he win Baby Giro? Did well in Baby Giro in 2018, I think. But yeah, what are we going to see in 2020 from Pavel Sivakov, one of the many young Ineos talents? Brandon Rivera, Egan Bernal, Ivan Sosa, Pavel Sivakov, so many young talents. Oh, we had Remco Evenepoel in the chat just before, asking me to comment on his 6.5 6.5 or 6.8 watts per kilo for 5 minutes or whatever he did. Daniel Nash, people complain about motos getting too close to the riders. No. I'm complaining about the fact that on the back of the motorbike, they do not have a stabilized camera, which means we have no idea what's going on in the front, so they can only go to the side of the rider. But right now, a lot of the NTT team have gone back, so maybe it was Nizzolo that had an issue, but NTT, they were supposed to be riding for Nizzolo. Simon Yates is surfing at the back, so he won't be contesting the finish, obviously. This was sort of the stage maybe he could have gone away on one of the earlier climbs. Didn't happen for him. We never really found out which of the riders were in that group of 4 with CCC, Lotto Soudal, Bora Hansgrohe. Obviously, they got brought back pretty quickly, and then Pavel Sivakov has countered over the top. He's solo on his own. A good time trialist. We're now looking at Dylan Van Baal, number 26, is on the back. Obviously not chasing, so because Pavel Sivakov's up the road. Kenny Elisonde for Trek, he's off the back as well. So maybe it's been a pretty hard race, and Sivakov has been brought back. My time code is 2 hours, 56 and 58 seconds. We're in the suburban region with mass development, cookie cutter suburbia homes in Torquay. The beach side looks really nice. It's a still day, hot day. But yeah, Sivakov's been brought back, and this is going to be a sprint. We got way less than 10Ks to go right now. I think it's 6 kilometers to go. They're showing a helicopter overhead shot, but now it's all been brought back, and they're fanned out. No one's leading out, so everyone's looking at each other. Trekker looking behind them, Cofidis looking behind them. Who's going to take this up? An attack obviously comes out of the group. A Lotto Soudal rider has attacked out of the group. I'm not sure. Is it Adam Hansen? I can't see the number, and there's now a counter coming from an Ineos rider, because obviously when you see all the sprint teams fanned across 5 wide with this close to go to the finish, it's just ripe for attacks, and this is good. This is awesome that there's actually counters happening. I don't know which Lotto Soudal rider is because I can't see the numbers, but Ineos are definitely very active, and it would be good to see Ineos more competitive in a lot more one-day races this year. Obviously, they've previously relied on sort of Kwiatkowski just being such an animal in sort of some of the monuments and classics that, he's done well. And when Ineos have tried to do well in one-day races, they generally do well. And I'm not even an Ineos fanboy. If you want to send a super sticker or a donation to the live stream, that'd be much appreciated. Don't make any money from these videos generally, because after I leave them up, no one really watches them or likes them. But I know you guys enjoy them when you're watching them, so that'd be appreciated. Looks like that move's been brought back as well from Ineos. CCC brought that back, and maybe Sunweb, but this camera is a trash can. Viviani is there in the Euro National Championships jersey. He was on the right-hand side, just sitting on the Cofidis lead-out trainer. I don't know how many kilometers are left to the finish. Maybe 5Ks or so. Maybe a little bit more than 5 kilometers, but it's interesting that no real sprint lead-out wants to take it up. Maybe Quickstep don't like going early these days. So if you've been watching Vuelta a San Juan, Quickstep have been waiting to the last 1,500 meters, and then trying to move up then. Dom A, I don't have a Patreon. I now have channel membership, so if you're a YouTube subscriber, you can you can get I'm having word finding difficulties. If you want to support the channel membership's now available if you want to do that. But yeah, now the sprint trains have actually taken it up a little bit. I think Cofidis have got to control this a little bit more. They've got Sabatini, Consoni. Viviani should really be the favourite for this sprint, I think, given that it's been quite a hard race. And I always like Viviani in a harder race than, say, someone like Sam Bennett. I don't think Sam Bennett is in top condition right now. Because I expected if he'd done really well at Tour Down Under and some of the rolly stages, I would have really liked him for Milan San Remo. But he really, with the Poggio in the Milan San Remo, no Sam Bennett. But we've got an overhead helicopter shot because the front on motorbike is not good enough. And they're, I think, in the last 3 to 4 kilometers. It's not really saying what's happening. I'm doing my best here. But this is going to be a bunch sprint. Comments in the live chat. Who's going to win this? Viviani, Bennett, Dome, welcome to the Lanterne squad. What bombs for you? Fabiaru Painface for you. But yeah, Cofidis, I don't know what they're doing. I think, yeah, Viviani. Who else? Caden Groves. I'd love to see Caden Groves win. The young Australian for Mitchelton Scott. Christopher Halvorsen for Education First. The Norwegian rider. Will he win? Oh, here we got sprint. Borahan's got on the right-hand side. Mortkov's leading out Sam Bennett. Giacomo Nisolo's on wheel, and I think Caden Groves. And it looks to me like Sam Bennett wins. Sam Bennett finishes easily. So they just got the front of the screen. Caden Groves came fourth. Giacomo Nisolo third. Mads Pedersen actually got a top 10, but wow, that was weird, that coverage, man. They went from an overhead helicopter shot where you couldn't see anything straight to the front on sprint on the last turn, but sorry about that. Greipel ain't doing nothing. Jonathan Agbogla, saw that retraction. Sam Bennett wins. Easy money sniper 1, 2, 3. Sam Bennett. I was just talking him down, saying Vivian was going to win. What the fuck were Cofidis doing, or how are they doing? They need to go back to the drawing board. What a surprise that they're a mess. Maru RS, you can see the live stream. It's in the link is in the description. Did Jensen Plowright get a top 10? Did any of the Bridge Lane or Wildcard or Australian team, did any of them get a top 10? Caden Groves did pretty well. He was he was connected to Bennett and Co. But obviously, who is the best lead out man in the world right now? It is, without a shadow of a doubt, Morkel for Quickstep. Jay McCarthy, I think it might have been, who got a top 5 as well. Jay McCarthy, I think one of the most talented riders in the Peloton, just hasn't had a lot of things go his way and opportunities recently. But a win for Sam Bennett. Beetlejuice Green says Jensen Plowright crashed. That's a shame for British Lane. I hope they replay this. Can I go back a little bit? Yeah, let me go back, see if I can. I'm going back 90. I'll go back. Okay, I've gone back to 2 minutes to go. And I was saying, you know, where is Cofidis? And I thought there was still 3 kilometers to go because we didn't really know how much was left. But at this point, there was 1 kilometer to go. And it looks like Quickstep just set it up so well. They obviously had 3 Stevenins in the breakaway for a lot of the race, the latter stage of the race with Daryl Impey. And they came around that left-hand bend. There was oh, wow, Jensen Plowright had a nasty crash. Wow, Jensen, he cooked himself. I'm just going to watch that one more time. If you can rewind the stream, but that looks really, really bad. So Jensen Plowright, I can't really see. Looks like, I wonder if someone chopped him. He looked like Jensen looked like he had his front wheel chopped, and he went left hip down, face first into the barriers. Jay McCarthy went early on the right-hand side, looks like, but he got caught. Mortkov, see, this is the power of Mortkov and Quickstep, man. Mortkov leading out super late. This is, you know, with 150 meters, 180 meters left. Drops Sam Bennett off. And he had on his wheel Nisolo, who was sprinting for FDJ. Andrea Van Dram, I think the Italian might have been sprinting for FDJ. He was sprinting on the right-hand side, but wasn't connected. He was behind Mortkov, not Bennett, so he was in a terrible position. Caden Groves was in a great position, 2 wheels deep from Bennett, but the lead out from Mortkov was just way too good. And set up Sam Bennett perfectly. I think Sunweb rider finished really quick. I think might have nabbed a top 5. The Sunweb rider, who would that have been? Who would the Sunweb rider have been that would have jabbed that top 5 finish? But he finished really, really fast. Jensen Plowright is on his feet, which is really good. I'm seeing now live images. Jensen Plowright's on his feet, which is awesome to see. Shame that he... real shame that he crashed. Would have been interesting to see how he did. Would have done in that sprint if he hadn't... It looked like he had his front wheel chopped. But thanks for joining the stream, everyone. Really enjoyed this after work streams. I've got to enjoy it while I can. Shane and I suffer the same pain. This is going to be one of the last. Cadell Evans on Sunday is going to be. Make sure you join me then. Cadell Evans Road Race. It'll be a little bit earlier. Cadell Evans Road Race, the World Tour one day race. Sam Bennett won this UCI 1-1 race, so maybe he'll be in fine form for Sunday. But Cadell Evans 1-1. Got to make the most of these races that are actually in at a nice time for the Lanterne Rouge here in Brisbane, Australia. Because when it comes to the classics, comes to the Giro d'Italia, you know what day every classics race is? Sunday night at like 1 a.m. But I'm going to live stream them. Don't you worry. I'm going to live stream them. And I'll do that if you join the channel, if you join the channel membership, and any super stickers and donations for the stream. But big win for Sam Bennett, the Irish guy. I reckon Irish rate. Check me out on Irish RTE radio. Probably going to ask me to talk about that. Comment right now for the next 5 minutes. Let's talk about who we think are going to win Cadel Evans road race. After that, is Sam Bennett a favourite? How do we feel about Caleb Ewan? Is Caleb Ewan not in good enough condition, or is he a bit tired? I think Bennett, Viviani and Cofidis, their lead out looks like a trash can right now. They look like they're completely off the wrong page, not on the same page rather. But yeah, they're not looking too great, Cofidis. If you want to watch this race, I guess if you've just woken up in Europe, I guess you can click on the live stream and go back. I'm not sure if you'll be able to do that. But this will remain up as a video if you want to have this as a companion video to the live stream. We looked at Richie Port's Strava time up Willunga, how quick he went this year. But yeah, has Remco done anything interesting this week? Not that I've seen. Looks all pretty standard to me. I'm not surprised by it. But thanks for joining the Lanterne Rouge Torquay race live stream. I appreciate all the donations. Appreciate everyone joining as a channel member. I'll see you tonight with a video. Ciao.